Alrighty, so now we are back in 3D Max, and we need to set dress, just put our materials and have some trees in there. I've already placed a few cameras around my vehicle. It's down here, and just a few like that, just a few angles, so that now I can just put my trees all around it and have it on the road. But before I come to that, let me go back to my perspective view. I think this one here. So before I do that, I actually had to go back to Matbox and create another texture, because I'll be using the pflow to proxy to whatever. There's a script there. I'll write this one here, pflow to proxy, just to be able to scatter everything, because we've looked at the advanced painter, we've looked at the grass generator, but now I think this is a good situation to use the pflow to proxy. So I went back to Matbox, and I created a new texture now so that it drives the placement of the particles on my environment. I actually added that, so I painted white, so we are having white. Where we have white, we are going to have particles. Then I also added the black one there. Then I just exported this as a texture, and once I did that, now I actually have it within 3D Max, and here is the texture itself. I'm having it right here. This is what I have now applied to my terrain. Let me put it on the terrain so that we look at it. So when you apply to the terrain, that's what you get. So we're going to have trees growing on those areas only. So I've already prepared the proxies. I already have the proxies. I have a tree here, you could have several, and I have the grass right here. Now before I jump into that, there's another tool I would want you to have a look at, and it's under rvstudios.com. rvstudios.com. This one here, it's actually an architectural design and visualization company, and they have some pretty good trees out here. So they have a nifty script for 3D Max, and under tools you'll find it under A3 3D right there. So it creates some really wonderful trees and flowers and grass. All you need to do is just download it. It's free. The script is free for even commercial use. You can use it in your projects right here. You're just not allowed to distribute it. And they also have a pool whereby you can exchange the kind of trees that you've created, and it's under this one here, under examples here. It's a 3dexchange.net, and they also have a tutorial here on quite a number of videos, actually 8 of them, on how to use the tool itself. If you come here to the examples of what people have submitted, you have to click on this one here. Now we have several categories. If you come to conifers over here, you'll notice all these nice and wonderful high poly trees are free for download and use, even on your commercial projects. All you have to do is click on the image over here, and you can download high quality of this one and an explanation of what it has right there. And if you come to the deciduous also, you find some really high quality, even fruits, high quality trees. For example, look at this. This is a lovely tree, quite high poly, and some images of the tree itself when it's rendered over there. So this is quite a nifty script for you, and it's free. So should you want to use it, just remember to come to rvstudios.com and get yourself, just download it, and it will work. It works with Max 7 and higher, as long as it's a script. So I'm sure it's going to work with even 15, because I haven't used it with Max 2015, but it should work. It should work. All right. So let me come back to this. I need to first of all just put my materials on this, but since I'm using the pflow to proxy, I may need to use a multi sub-object material, and let me just come in here and clean up most of these. No, I'll leave them there. So I'll just come in here and create a standard multi sub material, but within the multi sub material, come in here. I need to set the number to 2 so that I have 2 materials. I need the main color material in slot 1, which I'll actually still use this one. Just drag and drop there. That's okay. This is the color we are going to see now. Once we assign it to that, that's the color now, the color slot. Now the next one here is I'm going to use this map over here. So I'm just going to drag and put it over there, actually the whole of this material. Oopsie. So you need a material, not just a bitmap. So I'll throw in a material right there. That's okay. So in the first one, we're going to have the colors. In the second one, we're just going to have this map to drive the particle system. So in the first one here, I'm just going to double click on that and just open it actually right there. And let me add the textures for our terrain, the ones that we got from Madbox. So I'm just going to come in here. I'm just going to get a map, standard bitmap. And I'm going to come to terrain, and here they are. So I have this one. I'll start with the terrain diffuse, which I can actually just copy, hold shift and just drag down. And this next one here, well, you could get the terrain bump, So let me first just place the diffuse. So I put it under ambient and under diffuse over there like that, and there we are. And now we can see the map on our terrain nicely over there. And we're only seeing the map from material slot 1 of the multi-sub materials, but material number 2, we are really not seeing it. Let me first of all just ignore the bump for now, because material number 2 is now where we're going to use to populate our particle systems. And in the intermediary level, I expect you know how to use particle systems. So let me just first of all create a particle system. And before that, because I want to distribute the trees, I've already created a box, a nice box over there that, well, should be approximately the same size as our tree, sort of. It's a placeholder for our tree. So I'm going to use this now with my particle systems. So I just come here, create a particle flow right there. And then I just have to open the particle flow window. I just click on that and you have the particle flow window. I'm going to change quite a number of things, not so many. This position object, so that this one here right there, so that it covers that. So position object now, you come here to emitter, I add my plane, right, or my ground there, which is named line 1. Then I have to come to speed and just do away with speed. Then under shape right here, I need to replace it with shape instance over there. Now shape instance, I need to pick the shape that I want to use. So I'm going to click here and pick on my box right there. Then under display, I'm going to put geometry right there. So you notice here, you're seeing that nice tree, and you notice it's not green like this one, it's just picking this particle color. Then when I just populate like that, they appear all over. For rotation, I'm just going to come and change to wall space like that. Then I'm going to restrict divergence under Z, under X0, under Z1, so that now when I diverge, they actually rotate along the x-axis. There's a variation in terms of their rotation right there. Now, I could do the same for scale and things like that under the shape instance, but I don't think I'll do that. So now the only issue is we have like 200 trees, and I could make it like about 1,000 trees. And those look like they are very many. So let me try something like 800 trees. So I'll be working with about 800 trees within my scene. Now, once I have that, problem is they are actually populating the entire thing. So I need it to populate only the areas with a map. So all I need to do is come here to position object, under location, density by material, grayscale, then use sub material and material ID 2 like that. Okay, now why ID 2? Because if you check on my multi-sub right here, material ID 2 is the one that has that mask. Okay, it's the one we are using right there. So I also come down here and click on this one. If location is invalid, delete particles. So now we repopulate again. After all that, we just repopulate, and now you notice our trees are only growing on the designated areas where we actually painted. It's not growing on the road or anywhere else. So now that we have that, and we already have around 800 trees, we could increase the size, but I don't think that would be a good idea, because I've already tried to measure the tree in accordance to the car over there. So once that is done, once that is totally done, what I need to do now is come in and pick. So I no longer need this, so I can actually move it away. Just don't delete it, just move it away, or just hide it, hide selection. So I need to come in now, and I'll come in and just come to pflow to proxy this script. The first thing I do is create new layer for instant object. So I create a new layer and I'll call it trees, and then I select the particle flow source. I select my source, that's the particle flow, and then I come in here and select the proxy object. And then I allow it to do its job by converting all that. So it takes some time. There we are. Now we have it all over, depending on how many objects you have. So I'll just close this. And should I come to the layer manager? Okay. We have these trees, we have this layer here already created for us. And now I can actually now get rid of my particle system. I'll just do that. Now I can see all my trees around. I've already placed materials on them. So should I render? Should I come in here and render? We should be able to see our trees scattered around the environment over there. Usually it's very light on the scene, but it doesn't really do a lot of justice to your render times. So chances are your render times would remain, well, almost the same. They wouldn't change much. So let it finish rendering and we look at it. Alrighty, so it's done after about eternity and a day. So we're having over 800 trees in here, and it really doesn't improve your render time at all. So you either have a really powerful machine or have immense patience. I have immense patience. So now, since it's already created a layer for the trees, so what we're going to do is we're going to come to the layer manager and just hide the trees from the layer manager. Then let me just close this. You can see all the trees in here nicely, all the green pieces there. So what I need to do now is I need to do a bit of lighting, and since I'm already done with the particle flow, I can easily just delete it, and I can hide that proxy and also this grass over here, because you have some grass there. So after hiding all those trees, now I'm ready to come in and light up my scene. Now I really just need to concentrate on the lighting itself, so I'll just get only the objects that I'll need just to create the good lighting. So I just ungroup my vehicle and just select the vehicle body, and also get the environment itself and isolate selection, so that now I just have these. For reflections, I'll just dwell on the body of the car and the environment itself. So next what I need to do is let me frame this nicely over there, and just create my daylight system. By doing this, by hiding most of these things, everything goes a bit faster. So yeah, I'm going to use that, create elementary sun and sky, and I'm going to change these ones here to the Mentory sun, and this one I could say just a Mentory sky or just a skylight. It's fine, it's going to work okay there. Then I make it manual so that I can move it around just be able to move it around. I'll come in here and make this realistic so that we can see the shadows and everything in there nicely. So just bring these down somewhere there maybe. And then for the overall environment itself, I'm just going to come in here and use a sort of an image-based lighting. I'm going to use a HDR, maybe this, or even just an image. It works for the background over there. Then I'm going to hit on Alt-B for it to show up in the environment. Use environment background, apply that, and okay, there we are. Now you have it in your background. Let me come in here and yep, something like that. Shadows are working. So let me render out this first just to see how it looks. So just render that out, and there we are. Okay, so quite a number of things we need to work on. Quite a number of things. The sun is right here, so I need to move that daylight system just way somewhere around oopsie, not the car but the sun. Yeah, there we are. Move these somewhere around, I think there, and I could lift it up a bit just so that we have a bit more, or maybe somewhere there, because that matches with what we have in the background, so totally matches. Then when I render these out just to see, yeah, it's working nicely, working quite nicely. So I come in here and under indirect illumination, I just need to up the number of bounces. Let me say something like 4, something like that, and maybe the multiplier around 2. Then render that out just to see, and takes a little bit longer because now you're having more bounces just moving around right there. And then I need to come into my exposure control and bring these down a bit. The lower you go, the brighter it becomes. It's working with the exposure value of the camera that is rendering these out. So let me try 13 first just to see. But the danger of that is that the colors start getting washed out. That's the danger of having lots and lots of exposure. You start getting washed out colors. Yep, there we are. Now I could correct the whole issue of the colors. It's just too bright here, but I could correct maybe this one here. You notice the tarmac here is not looking, it looks a bit washed out. So for the colors, what I usually do is I need to come in under my materials here. Now I need to pipe my bitmap here through a gamma and gain shader, this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and under maps, under the maps, I need to look for a gamma and gain shader, so that now I can pipe my materials through that. And I think mentor, yes. So I need to pipe my materials through this. So just to correct the gamma over there. So take this one there, then come and hook it up here now, like that. So you can change the gamma here, okay, and also the multiplier here, the gain here. So let's look at the difference. Let me clone this right there, then we render these again. Yes, we see the differences, and you notice, well, we've really darkened it, but the colors are no longer washed out. Yeah, you can see the difference in these two images right here now. Okay, although you could do these in post-processing, it would also work. Let me also look at it from a different angle, maybe that kind of an angle over there. So render that out and see. and it's looking proper. It's quite proper actually. So now, well, I could change the angle of these whenever I need to be, like up or down, right there. And also on the exposure control, there are quite a number of things I could play around with, including the color here. Could change a bit of this, or the whitening point. Let's try a lower value, maybe something like 4000 Kelvin. And you notice it gives it a cooler effect. It becomes a bit bluish. The lower you go, sort of gives you a cooler color, right there. Okay. So the color is a bit cooler. I could now increase this to about 7000, the whitening point, the Kelvin, and you notice this now it has changed a bit warmer. So if I come in and clone that and render, you'll see you can see quite a difference. This cooler, notice it has this bluish feel. This one is warmer. It's actually really rhyming with this, but I like this better. I like this way better. So this one, take it back to 4000 or 4500, around that area there. And then there are quite a number of other things that I could play around with, but I'll leave it as is. I could now boost this a bit because I already have a gamma and gain here. Let me lower these a bit. Let's try something like 12 right there, and let me render that out. And yeah, I think this is way better. This is way better. Let me go to my cameras that I already have set up in the scene. So I hit on C and I can actually go to my cameras now. So let me try camera 3 and render these out and see. And yeah, I think this might work. This might work for me. All right, so I'll just change my camera angles over here, and right there, let me try some, maybe this angle, and then I need to sort of end isolation so that I can get my tires and everything going, and just do a test render and see. Let's look at that. Alright, so it has finished rendering, and I think I like what I'm seeing. I just need to up the quality and all that, just to get better shadows and all that. But first of all, I just paint some grass out here, and then unhide the trees and do the final render from the different camera angles that I have. So I'll start by getting my let me change this first to shaded so that I can see easily. Yep, so that's much better. Then change this to perspective so that I can zoom up. Now I cannot see my map, so I'll have to come in here and enable it on the multi-sub. Yes, so now I can see my map easily, and all I need to do now is unhide by name, and I get my grass right there. So I have this grass proxy, which I could very easily now use the advanced painter for. So all I need to do is come open my advanced painter. I could still use the pflow to proxy, but want to use this, and I'll use maybe randomizer right there. Then add selected cell. On the rotation, don't forget on rotation here to the maximum, just give it about 360 so that there is some kind of rotation over there. Then you select the environment and hit on paint, and now you have this. All you have to do is just do that, you know, paint the areas where you're having the soil over there. So I can easily just paint your grass on these areas. You'll have to do that, and maybe on this side a bit. Let's paint the grass, and you'll actually have your grass going for you there. Then once you're done, you could add other forms of grass, shrubs, whatever. All you need to do is first of all come in here under your render setup and change your render quality. I usually go for the classic myself, around 4 to around or maybe higher values, maybe 16 to 64, yes, to improve the render quality over there. And then under global illumination here, the final gather, just throw it to something like medium. Yeah, don't go too high. Again, render times, and remember the number of bounces you have here should never exceed the number of maximum reflections here. So if you have anything above 8 over here under the diffuse bounces, you'll have to increase it here also, otherwise it will not really work very nicely over there. So all you need to do now is just unhide your trees and just get your camera angles and render. Just render. Now I already had rendered a few of these, and just look at them, because if we hit render now, it will take a few years to finish. So here it is, same car, just the trees around. I didn't really work on the gamma nicely, so you notice a lot of glare over there, but these are the kind of results that you're going to find. The grass looking quite nice. We need to get it off the road somewhere around here. Here it's looking quite okay. The grass there and the trees right there, and the nice and lovely car. So all you need to do is practice. Others that I've worked on, and not necessarily the main environment, but very high quality renders that I've done. This is one of the things that I've done. The poster for this project over here. So I don't have a lot apart from the rocks here, mud box as usual, and these trees, so you know how to get all this, and then just got it on some nice rough ground over there. And that's what I have. So remember people, subscribe to my channel and continue liking. Any comments, anything that you think would have done better, I would appreciate some help over there. So thank you so much, and keep practicing.